Yasser Davari from Kimura.se is standing here alongside Gökhan Saki, who's fighting Khalil Rountree at UFC 226. How's everything, Gökhan?
Everything is good. I'm prepared very well. I'm ready for the war, man.
You've been training here at the All-Stars gym for the last 2 months. How's the training been here?
The training has been very good here. I was here last year also for 1 month for my first UFC fight. And there is a lot of good fighters here, a lot of good upcoming fighters. And of course, Alexander Gustafsson, Ilie Latifi, and a couple of more fighters coming over and going back. So I choose for this. I choose for Sweden because, like I said, there is a lot of opponents here: lightweights, heavyweights, light heavyweights. So it's good to train with different kind of weight classes because to make your style complete. And that's why I choose for Sweden. It's close to my house, Turkey, and I like the people. One of the main trainers here is a good friend of me, Salman Berisha. That's also a big reason I choose for here, because it's hard to find somebody you can trust in a short time. And with Salman I have a good feeling for a long time, so that's why. Of course, Andreas and Magdi, I met them last year also. They're very nice people and they always keep the door open for me. So.
And how would you say the level of training is here compared to other places?
Honestly, the level is high. The training they do is crazy. It's a high tempo, different kind of trainings, of course. I'm used to kickboxing and weights and condition training only, but we do a lot of wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and the tempo is high. So it's very important to listen to your body. I think that's in every gym where you go. That's everywhere, because you have to listen to your body because of the injury. So when you control yourself, then it's a sick training.
You were supposed to face Khalid at UFC 219 at the end of last year, but you got injured. How was the injury and how have you recovered from the injury?
The injury was an old injury. It was a meniscus problem, but after my first UFC fight, after the fight it got swollen, and I didn't train for a long time before my UFC debut, so my body was not used to hard training anymore, and because of that the injury come back and I need to operate it. I tried to continue my camp in Miami, but the first training it got worse there, and I operated, and it was a 4 or 5 months hard time, because finally I was back in training and my body get used to training again, and this happened. So it was a hard time, but it was a big test for me mentally, and I win this test, and I'm here, man, better than ever.
You had a great UFC debut where you knocked out your opponent, Hendrik da Silva. Have you watched the fight, and what do you think about your performance in that debut?
I think it was nice, no? You know, this is what people want to see. They want to see real fighting. They want to see somebody with good technique, explosivity, and try to knock somebody out. And Da Silva was a very tough opponent, but at the same time I was not ready 100% what my body was before, because I didn't train for a long time, and for this fight I only trained like 2 months. From nothing to the fight was a very hard time mentally. People were saying you're fucking crazy, but I was like, it's a challenge. I miss fighting and I'm just gonna do it and try to knock him out. And finally I knock him out, and yeah, continue training, and now I'm on a much different level, man.
You've always been up to challenges. All your K1 career, most of your opponents have been bigger than you. Is it a drive that you have, that you always want to push yourself to these type of challenges? MMA is maybe one of them?
You know, with the K1, every opponent was big, every opponent was strong, so every fight was a challenge for me. And I am used to these challenges, and I need to have a challenge, so I'm hungry to train and hungry to fight. And Khalil is not for me a challenge. The game, the UFC, the MMA is for me a challenge, and that's why I'm hungry again to train and ready to do new things, you know.
What do you, have you studied Khalil Rountree before this fight, and have you seen anything that he can bring to the table, or do you see it as a walk in the park, as they say?
Bro, I fight everybody, man. You know, Khalil is just a stand-up fighter. Everything can happen. It's small gloves. If he hit me good on the chin, probably I will go down or I will get knocked out. But for me, he's somebody who tried to stand up. He's not a stand-up fighter. He's wrestling. My wrestling is better than his. Jiu-jitsu, I'm ready. I'm ready for jiu-jitsu, for wrestling, and stand-up. I fight everybody, you know, the best of the best. And at this moment, I don't like to say this about myself. Better people say this about me, but I think I am the stand-up fighter, you know. And he's a stand-up fighter too, but I think he don't want to stand up with me. He's gonna try to take me down, but I'm ready for that too, you know. So I check a couple of times his fights, and what can I say? It's gonna be a nice fight.
What can the fans expect from this fight? I mean, you're well known to be a knockout artist. Is it something that you bring to the UFC as well?
100%. I don't. I'm not a point fighter, you know. I used to fight heavyweight with this height, with 100 kilos, and I used to knock out 2 meter tall, 120 kilo guys. So I'm not gonna stand there and fight 3 rounds, 5 minutes. Who make the most points? Either he get knocked out, either I get knocked out.
You have a big amount of fans around the world, but especially in your home country, Turkey. What can you say to the Turkish fans around the world watching your fight next week?
Just support me, boys, and I know everybody stays behind me and they're supporting me, and just keep doing that, man. I'm there to support my country, Turkey, and of course Holland too. And I just gonna give them what they wanna see, you know, what they're paying for and why they're supporting me. I'm gonna give them back what they want, 100%.
All right, Gökhan, my last question. How would the fight against Khalil Rountree at the UFC 226 end?
Lights out, game over.